Robert J. Conley here, talking to you about intuitive frustrations. So, what are some of the challenges that intuitives face? Well, at times, intuitives can feel as if they are visitors from another planet. And remember, intuitives are only about 20% of the population, plus or minus a few numbers. Um, and so, especially, this is especially high on my awareness these days because I'm coaching a few people who have gotten themselves, they're in their mid 30s, they've gotten themselves into careers that are just not a good fit. And one is an intuitive, and I'm going to speak from some of, I mean, my own experience, the experience of coaching multiple people, and to just talk about intuitives. And so, if you're an intuitive, and especially in your younger years, until you have found your fellow intuitives, there's a decent chance that you have felt like an outsider, that you've questioned your own way of being. And a couple of things. Early education is a sensor's world. It's not an intuitive world. And by early education, I mean I'm going to go all the way through high school. So much of education is just about performing work. It's about memorizing facts. It's about writing. It's overwhelmingly sensing functions. And to be honest, I'm an intuitive, and I don't know how to teach intuition. I can, like I said, I can teach you how to have intuition arrive, a process that makes it arrive, but I can't teach you how to have it. So it also makes sense to me that the education establishment is dominated by sensors, and they teach the way that they learn. And so intuitives can find most of education to be highly frustrating. And there's a decent, there are a couple of specific personality types that have a really high odds of leaving the formal education system after high school, like just barely making out of high school and then moving on. So, if you're intuitive, and you're because of your ability stack, and I will stutter at this point because I don't want to go too into depth, but I want to convey the thought. So intuitives as a group, there can be exceptions to this, but intuitives as a group, memorizing things is not a strong suit. Memorizing dates, memorizing just all kinds of facts without greater meaning can be very challenging for intuitives. And so a common mistake that intuitives can make is to think that is an indication of intelligence one way or the other. And so an intuitive, if you're low in memory, or your ability to memorize things is low, you are in danger of misinterpreting that as an indicator that you are not necessarily an intelligent person, and it can hamper your self-esteem. So, the intuitives generally have a higher level of curiosity. Intuitives want to know how systems work. They want to know how people work. They want to know how people, like especially empathic intuitives, even at a young age, would like to know, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Having a genuine concern for the well-being of fellow humans. And even as I talk about those concepts, it's like, yeah, school's not about that. So, there's a decent probability, first of all, that you've been taught overwhelmingly by sensors teaching in their form. Now, when you go and get your first jobs, overwhelmingly, the odds are you're going to be working for sensors, especially in entry-level jobs. There aren't a bunch of entry-level jobs looking for intuitives. Entry-level jobs are looking for people to move, the meat patty from the fridge to the grill, looking to deliver the package from the warehouse to the house. They're looking, entry-level jobs are overwhelmingly sensor jobs. And so intuitives, I'm sharing that just because I want you to, like, it's almost like, if it's like, oh, I hate this. But if you know that it would be more, it's normal for you as an intuitive to hate that, then hopefully that makes it a little bit better, makes it a little more bearable. And what I want intuitives to do is to then take the opportunity to realize all the things you can learn in this world that will serve you later. And so, showing up for a job on time, knowing that the only way anybody ever gets paid is by producing a product or service that is of use to others, and seeing how hard that is day in and day out, seeing what process is. Because, like, if you're an intuitive person, you're a creative person, you need to have a process. And I've talked to you about, having your own intuition arrive, and it's that think deeply, forget about it, allow your intuition to pop up. It's that simple. But you need to have that process day in and day out. And so in these first jobs, start to gain that appreciation, that perspective of, wow, process is the barrier to getting paid. Process is the difference between having a hobby and having a business. And so the next item is that in working for non-intuitives, your curiosity is probably always going to be much greater, whether it's about your fellow humans or whether it's about systems. You're a more curious person by all odds. You're a more curious person. You want to make things better. You want people issues to work better. You want systems to work better. And you're probably working for someone who just wants to get the product out the door. This is how we've always done it. I just need you to do it faster. Stop telling me about doing it better. But what the chops that you can start building is learning how to, once you have those, realize, like, oh, here's a better way to do it. First of all, you don't become a complainer. You don't start framing things to your boss as far as just complaining, this is stupid, this way we shouldn't do it. No, you become a deeper student of how it could be done better. And then when the time is right, meaning tell your boss, hey, when you have time and you have an off moment, I'd like to talk to you about a way I think we could improve this. So it's not, I want to meet with you to complain. I want to meet with you to show how you can improve this. And here's the thing. Your boss probably isn't going to be thrilled to hear about it. I don't want you to have any attachment to the outcome. Just be committed to engaging that process, and realize that if your boss isn't immediately, accepting of, also realize sensors need more time to process. They're not necessarily instantly going to see it. And what you can do is work on your patience and your awareness and your tracking, and just realizing, like, no, I really see this better way to do this, and to be patiently persistent to just work on it. And so in having this intuitive capacity, realize that a lot of times you're not going to feel like you really fit in. You're going to find that you're an observer of the action as much as you are a participant of the action. Work on that, being an observer of the action, and come from a perspective of improving things, of making them more effective, more efficient, and to then also build your chops as far as adjusting your pacing and your thoroughness in presenting a new idea to an employer, or to whomever it is, to take that opportunity. So what I've talked about is applicable to every age, but as I shared, I'm making this more specific to younger people, first kinds of jobs, making it through school. Just take solace in the fact that you're like, again, you're like only about 20%, 25% maybe of the population. You have a different way of looking at the world. You have a capacity to improve things. You have a curiosity about how things work. And if you will just continually engage the process of intuition and of then sharing it with people in a way that they can hear it, you're on your way to having a good fit as far as your work life, finding fulfillment, being productive, and being a contributor. That's what I've got for you today. Take care and keep being curious.